Okay, moving on to paragraph section and also the next subheading, living off the land. I'm gonna go ahead and highlight that because if you look at the question, you're gonna have you have to answer basically a question about the subheading. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight that. But I'm gonna go ahead and keep reading. Sending stuff to Mars is very expensive. The cheapest way is to colonize. So remember, if you're not sure about the term, you click on it and it gives you information about that word. Will be to make everything there. It's really all about the resources, says Dr. Dayer. If we find things there that allows us to sustain human life, then we can settle there. Mars has plenty of metals and rock and probably lots of water, but no wood or petroleum, which is used to make gasoline, plastic, and many other useful products. The settlers could make bricks from local dirt. Mars has plenty of silicon and iron, elements that will allow people to produce glass and steel. There's another reference there, or footnote rather. And of course, everything sent to Mars will stay on Mars. Martian citizens will be really good at recycling. So I'm going down to my question here. It says highlight the subheading in this article, which I already did. Which main organizational pattern is the author using, and how can you tell? So I'm looking at this, and remember, if you go back to the beginning of this text, it has classification, dislike, and I think it was a like and dislike, and also I want to say cause and effect, but I'm not sure, but I always go back as reference. But in this case, if I'm looking at this is classification. So how do I know? So I'm gonna type in here the organizational pattern. Always check my spelling. Organizational pattern is classification. Period. This section is focusing on how colonists would use the resources found on Mars. All right. So basically with that, it's giving you that classification, is giving you details. Remember, main ideas and details, classification kind of work hand in hand. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. With time constraints, I have to move on with this. Okay, so I'm moving on to paragraph 8. Settlers will need to grow food. Mars has dirt, but it doesn't have soil. Soil contains microbes that help plants grow. Fortunately, humans will take those organisms along with them. Poop makes excellent fertilizer, so the sewage treatment plant will be near the greenhouses. Martians will most likely eat a vegan diet. Animals are hard to transport, and it will take much less energy to grow plants than to raise animals. Plants also use up carbon dioxide and produce oxygen, which people need to breathe. So I have another question here. So this is one of those big questions. Highlight the information in paragraph 8 that most surprise you. So when I go up there and do that, I'm thinking about the question here. Why do you think the author include this information? So I'm looking at this. I want to highlight this section right here. Fortunately, humans will take the organisms along with them. Poop makes excellent fertilizer. They will have those treatment plants near the greenhouses. And the reason why I would like to highlight that, I'm thinking about human poop as fertilizer. Of course, if you know anything about living on the land, people use animal poop. But in this case, human poop. So that's what's surprising to me. So I want to say that I think human poop as fertilizer. Okay, that's right. Yeah, fertilizer will be more surprising. Check my spelling, because we all make mistakes here. And me personally, I didn't really know you can do that. So I can say that I really didn't know that human poop can be used as fertilizer. I think that's gross, but you do what you have to do to survive. So I'm moving on. So I'm going ahead and go to 9 and 10. The city will need energy to heat and electricity. The best sources will be solar, geothermal, and wind. And there's no oil or gas on Mars. Settlers will also want to make fuel for trips back home. They'll likely use carbon dioxide from the Martian atmosphere to make methane gas. To do this, they'll need hydrogen. They could bring it from Mars or get it from water on Mars. So I'm going ahead and moving on. I have another subheading here. Smaller is better. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. Also remember, look at your term here. If you're not sure what geothermal, what that word means, you also have this to look it up. Relates to internal heat on the earth. So there you go. So moving on to 10. Because it has to produce its own air, the Martian city will be small. At first, residents will probably live underground to protect against cosmic radiation. They'll work to develop radiation blocking gas or plastic. Once that's in place, settlers can live above ground in brick buildings with windows, or even under a dome or tent. So I'm looking at this and I have another question here. Highlight the word cosmic in paragraph 10 and then use a dictionary or context clues in the article to determine the meaning. Why might the author have used this term to describe the radiation? So at this point, I want to say that I can turn it back to you. So this is something you can do. So I'm going to go in, I do this part for you, highlight cosmic, and you have to use a dictionary or use your context clues within to help you understand the meaning of the word cosmic. Why might the author have used this term to describe radiation? But if you go back even further, they tell you about cosmic radiation. So I want to let you answer this particular question on your own. You will finish reading this article. You have another question here and another question. So once you're done, you're going to click on the next button. Make sure you're answering your check for understanding. And make sure you are doing analyze the text. Now, I want you to do the research part here. So you have read through Martian Metropolis. Do the research part and fill in this chart. You do not have to write the report. At first I did include it, but at this point, I want for you to get done with this article and move on to the next article because you have a lot to do. So do everything from research. You're going to do the analyze the text. Click on the next page. Click on critical vocabulary. Do that part and vocabulary strategy. That's all I want you to do. And once you are done, make sure you click I'm done and submit it to me. Your device will allow you, especially if you are using your tablets and computers, make sure you are using that Foxfire or Chrome, and this will fully load to get all your information in. Okay? Because I have another lesson that I'm going to be putting online, and it's a pretty lengthy lesson, but I want you to get caught up with Martian Metropolis before I move you on to the next lesson. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or text me or call me, and I will help you through this. I miss you guys in class, so go ahead, get done with your work so you can have that time to relax. Talk to you soon. Bye.